Hey there, everyone, and welcome in. It's Aaron St. Dennis, the FF Mad Scientist, and welcome to the Mad Science Lab podcast. Today I've got Jesse and Jeremy with me. How's it going, guys? Black Friday going well for you? I see Jesse, you're right in the middle of it there.
I know. Gotta swat these TVs out of my face. It's chaos out here. We're bobbing and weaving, folks.
Fair enough. Sorry, I'm fading into my background here. My head's not this oddly shaped. Well, some would say it is.
Debatable.
Yeah, thanks. I kind of walked into that one. Hey, Jeremy. All right. Well, let's kick things off. We got a little bit to do here. We've got 3 game recaps from the Thanksgiving Day games, and then 6 more previews to cap out the week. What an odd week. I cannot wait to not have Thanksgiving again for a year. My schedule is all over the place. I had to get articles out early. I had to get episodes done early. We have just stuff you're not normally doing is thrown I'm a routine guy, and it's thrown everything all right off for me. I don't know about you guys. You guys feeling all clustered?
Yeah, it's just weird. Like the everything's off, like you're talking about. The order and the structure that my life is normally set up in this week's just been thrown to shit to the wind. So yeah, it's Friday. Feels very weird. It does not feel like Friday.
It's Friday like and there's a game in 3 hours. You know that?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Crazy.
I was like, we got to watch it too. It's the Jets and Dolphins.
Well, I'll be at work, so I won't be watching any of it. So
I'll catch the recap.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the game recaps first. We'll start with the first one. We had the Lions losing 29-22 to the Packers. This one was ugly. Jared Goff continues to turn the ball over. We had Jordan Love throw for 268, 3 touchdowns. Well, Jared Goff was 332 and 2 touchdowns, but also 3 fumbles lost. How is that possible? He goes 3 interceptions, follows it up with 3 fumbles. That's great. Coming at a great time of year for Detroit. The running backs, A.J. Dillon got all the work, 14 carries, 43 yards. Didn't do much with it. 3 catches for 38 yards. Montgomery, it looks like he split the carries just over 50-50. He had 15 carries, 71 yards, and a touchdown. And Jahmyr Gibbs had 11 carries, 54 yards, but got 4 receptions to kind of pad his stats a little. The receivers were all over the place. We had a lot of usable ones. Christian Watson finally comes to life. He has 5 for 94 and a touchdown. Jaden Reed, 2 for 16 on the ground. Then he has 4 for 34 and 1 touchdown. It's interesting that they're using Reed kind of like Debo. I didn't really think he was suited to it, but okay. We have Romeo Doubs, who got 3 for 37. That was disappointing. St. Brown did what St. Brown does. He puts up almost 19 points without a touchdown, 9 for 95. Khalif Raymond got in here with 5 for 90. Josh Reynolds, 2 for 15, saved by a touchdown. J-Mo goes 2 for 51. He's just a deep ball threat at this point. He's Gabe Davis light. Tight ends were interesting. We had a great day from Sam Laporta, 5 for 47 and a touchdown. Tucker Kraft, nothing but a touchdown. That saves his day. Both kickers sucked. The Lions defense didn't register anything, and the Packers registered 18 points on 3 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 3 recoveries, and the TD, that was a scoop and score touchdown, right? Not a pick six?
Yes.
That was, I forget his name. Yeah. Okay. What are your takeaways from this lovely game, besides the Lions shit the bed because Goff can't stop turning the ball over?
Yeah, I mean, like Packers' offense looked good. Like the issue with Detroit's been their defense all year, and this more just led into it as my daughter's screaming in the background. So don't mind the applause for Jordan Love. But yeah, the offense looks good. They've figured some stuff out. Jordan Love is come on looking like a capable NFL quarterback the past month plus. So he looks like he's going to be the guy moving forward with that team. And they got a bunch of young pieces, so it's promising. Detroit, yeah, it was ugly. Like there's just no way to just say anything else. They played terrible. Jared Goff cost them this game, basically, is what I'm talking about. And then yeah, you can look at the rest. But overall, like there's some positive things for Detroit, but I'm not happy with this game for them.
Yeah,
I have to veer us off track here for one quick second because I have to make this decision before I go back to work with my rankings here. We're not expecting Devon A-Chain to play today, correct?
Yeah, I know he's out.
Okay, correct. Well, Fantasy Pros doesn't have him listed as out. They have him listed as doubtful.
Yeah,
so I have to update my rankings here before I go back to work because I won't get a chance. So I wanted to confirm. I was erring to the side that he was out, but all right, sorry, continue. What are your thoughts, Jeremy?
Jordan Love, totally agree. Goff, he's up and down. That Green Bay defense can do enough. and they certainly did it. Rashawn Gary had a ridiculous day. But for fantasy, I'm looking at the running backs here, right? David Montgomery is who we know David Montgomery to be. It's great that he keeps getting in the end zone. His volume is down, but his efficiency is slightly up, and he's scoring. So keep rolling with him. Gibbs is getting that workload. So these guys should be back end RB1, high end RB2 rest of the season. I'm not scared of, New Orleans next week, but otherwise Chicago, Denver, Minnesota sets up really nicely for those guys. On the other end, the running backs, AJ Dillon, if your trade deadline hasn't passed and anyone will give you anything for AJ Dillon off the back of 3 mediocre performances in a row, sell that man. He is not him. He has never been him, and he's never going to be him. So if you can get anything for AJ Dillon, do it now.
These rookies are starting to frustrate me, especially the running backs. This is why I've gotten to the point where I absolutely don't care about draft capital at all in my dynasty leagues, because the best rookies this year are not the ones who were the highest draft capital. Let's see what the question is. Need 2 flex. Waddle, Higgins, Singletary, Flowers, Odell, Schultz. Do we think Higgins is going to play? Did he?
I'm not
playing him even if he does. Yeah.
I think it's Waddle, Singletary if Pierce doesn't play, but I think Pierce is back, so you go Waddle, Flowers.
Yeah, I think that's the safest route. And then I would have Singletary, and then Higgins and Odell come together, and then Schultz is the tight end. So
I have Schultz above Odell and Higgins.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind it, honestly. I need to check my rankings, but those 3, it's definitely a tier gap from the first 3 to the second 3. I'm just no thank you.
I think Waddle, Flowers, unless Pierce is out, then you put Waddle, Singletary. But I'm pretty sure Pierce is playing. Jeremy,
for me, it depends on what you need, right? We don't have any information about half PPR, full PPR, where you are. But if you need upside, I would go Zay and just hope that he gets, or even Odell. Depending on the big booms that you need. If you need stability, I go Singletary, but I think Waddle is locked in, like we said.
All right. Any other takeaways from this game before we move on to the next one? We've kind of got a full schedule.
Christian Watson's top 24 wide receiver in usage, and he finally hit this week. So you guys have to keep betting on that. He's been good. He hasn't been great, but the usage has been there, and he finally lived up. And he should have had a monster game. They just missed a touchdown, and on a deep play that they completed the pass, if he just leads Watson, that's an extra 50 yards on a touchdown. So it could have been a ginormous game for him, but it was good to see him.
Gabe Davis heavy, Christian Watson.
Jesus Christ. All right, moving on to a close nail biter here. We've got the Cowboys 45-10 over Washington. They were up by so much, and they were so confident they stashed turkey legs and props all over the stadium to fuck with, and I'm not making that up. Read the article. Dak, they had stuff all planned all over the field. I didn't get to see much of it live, but okay, so we got a huge day out of Dak, 331 and 4 touchdowns. Good God. That's probably the QB1 on the week. Sam Howell at 300 yards, but 1 interception and 1 rushing touchdown. So he had a decent day. It didn't kill you, but it's 18 points is not what you wanted. Running backs, I have Tony Pollard. I had him this week as a top 3. Currently, he sits at 2. I'm not liking my chances. He had 13 carries for 79 yards and a touchdown. A lot of receiving work, didn't do much with it, but 6 for 24. Rico Dowdle had 3 carries for 11 yards, but he had a receiving touchdown. That's what made him usable. Brian Robinson was massively disappointing, but as usual, game script dependent, and this was not their game script. 15 carries for 53 yards, 2 receptions for 11. Antonio Gibson, 6 carries, 21 yards, 3 receptions, 16 yards. Also not good. The receivers, we had some decent ones. On Washington, we had Curtis Samuel going 9 for 100, Dotson 5 for 52, Terry McLaurin 4 for 50. Nothing great there. I guess Samuel was a pretty solid day. CD Lamb goes, where's the stat line here? 4 for 53. Oh, but it's with the touchdowns. I was gonna say that's kind of a down. It's a second down week in a row for CD, isn't it? Except this time he had a touchdown to save it. Oh no, so it's a second down week in a row he's had saved by a touchdown. Sorry.
Yeah,
that's what it was. So he's still managing to put up more than 15 points, but last 2 weeks he's been living on touchdown luck after monster performances here. But Brandon Cooks 4 for 72 and a touchdown. Kevontae Turpin, 2 for 49. Did he not have a long? Oh,
You
no.
got
Sorry. Yes, he did.
Turpin.
I
Turpin
switched
scored.
players here by mistake. You're right. It's 1 for 34 on the long touchdown. That's what I was looking for. Tolbert's 2 for 49. My bad. Tight ends were all pretty much useless. Thomas, 2 for 15. Cole Turner, 1 for 29. Ferguson, 1 for 35. Schoonmaker, 1 for 12. Hopefully you didn't start any. Hopefully you didn't start either kicker, although Aubrey, I guess, didn't kill you. Nobody was starting the Commanders defense who put up a negative. And if you had Dallas, they were probably your DST 1 or 2 on in your projections because you could all but literally, I bet a Deron Bland anytime touchdown this week. That's how much he's been scoring. And I hit it at 17-1.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
So,
nice.
Yeah, 17-1. They had 1 interception, 10 points allowed, 4 sacks, and the touchdown by Deron Bland, setting the NFL record. They were awesome. They are like starting a third quarterback in a super flex league. What do you guys got here?
The Cowboys offense is just absurd. It's Dak's world. We're living in it. And Lamb's, he led the team in targets. I wouldn't worry about Lamb. That's 9 targets. Like if you get 9 targets a week from Lamb, like it's just money in the bank. Pollard, he's getting usage, and it finally paid off. So it's interesting. Like Pollard finally coming along. Christian Watson's finally coming along. All these guys we liked in the preseason finally showing out. It's just sometimes it's process plays, but it might be a little too late for these guys for you this year. But yeah, like this is Pollard's good. Dottle, you can, in matchups like this, he can get you a touchdown, which is what he did. But the offense supports like everybody. It's wild. So.
Is there anything more frustrating than a process play that you got right, but by the time it came out to be right, like Pollard, you were already pretty much eliminated? Like it comes out in week 12 or whatever, and then he goes like Mike Evans last year. He absolutely goes off and would have won you a championship, but you're out of the plaplayoffs. So it's like, well,
like the last 2 weeks have been good, but before that it was rough. It's
that's
like
the worst.
Oh, it's like his usage is so good. It's like,
what do you think, Jeremy?
Well, I think that Rain Dakota Prescott is going to go off the rest of the season. He's been killing it, as you can see right here, since the bye. He's been, and even the week before the bye, the QB1, QB3, QB2, QB1. He had a down week in week 11.
Do you have that on your phone? I hate that the Sleeper PC app does it. On your phone, it has his ranking in this column. It doesn't on the PC, and it annoys the hell out of me that it doesn't have
But in 6-point touchdown leagues, it's the second time in 3 weeks he's gone over 40 points. It's the 4th time in 5 weeks he's gone over 35 points. He is absolutely crushing, and the schedule just gets better. Seattle, Philly, Buffalo, Miami, and Detroit to end the season. If you don't have Dak Prescott right now and you can go get him, he is a league winner by definition. Any and every Cowboy, except maybe Jake Ferguson, is going to get you there. The schedule is amazing.
All righty. Brian Robinson was disappointing, but obviously nothing to worry about there. You look at the game script every time. If they're playing a crappy team that they can stay competitive with, you play them. I think you got to start benching them against the Dallases and San Franciscos of the world.
Fair.
The running back or the wide receiver room is kind of a mess. It's like Green Bay. It's a different guy every week. And on Dallas, it's all CeeDee Lamb. Was that my phone or yours? It must be. All right, moving on to the final game for Thanksgiving. 49ers 13, Seattle 13. Purdy, not a great day. 209, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Geno, a terrible day. 180 and 1 interception. That's impressive. CMC does what he does. 19 carries, 114 yards, and 2 touchdowns. 5 for 25 receiving. Charbonnet was disappointing. I had to start him in a few leagues where I lost Walker. And I was impressed he was available on waivers. Now I kind of wish he wasn't. Guess he didn't kill you. 14 carries, 47 yards, 4 for 11 through the air. Nobody else did anything in the running back room. Debo finally does something. He had 4 carries for 15 yards and a rushing touchdown, but it was 7 for 79 through the air. Brandon Ayuk has 2 for 50, saved by a touchdown. DK is the best of the Seattle receivers, and with 3 for 32, that should tell you a lot. JSN had 2 for 41 with 1 really sweet catch. Lockett had 3 for 30. This was ugly for Seattle. And if Geno doesn't figure it out soon, none of these guys are playable. The tight ends were all disappointing. I mean, Kittle was the only one who really disappointed because he's the only one you're playing. He had 3 for 19. Both kickers were average, 7 points for Moody, 5 for Myers. Both defenses were, I guess, playable. The 49ers put up 13 points with 1 interception, 6 sacks, and a fumble recovery. And Seattle put up 9 with an interception, a sack, a forced fumble, and the touchdown. It tells you how many points they gave up. They scored a touchdown and still were only worth 9 fantasy points. What do you guys think here?
We were talking about this last week. I said if you can get out from Geno off of the game versus Washington and use that to sell him high, like that's the way to go because this schedule is just so rough for him. You got the Rams, you got San Francisco, and then you get Dallas, San Francisco again, Philadelphia. It's like
spoiler, you can't trade him anymore. You missed the window.
Yep. It's so you're just riding with the quarterback you really can't play, you can't trust because that offense is broken. Like I watched it yesterday against a good defense. It's just nothing's working for them.
What's changed so much in the last month? Why are they so broken? You're a Seattle fan.
I don't know. Like they have pieces, they have like everyone's back. Like this is the offense that's supposed to be good that we're excited of. It's been a disaster. So I'm expecting them to make changes in the offseason because you can't roll with this after all the moves you made and be just as disappointing as they are. But yeah, on San Francisco side, like it's McCaffrey's world. He's just incredible. It's like I was watching that and I was like, okay, this is a vintage CMC performance. And yeah. Look at even in some of the games like this, you get Debo hitting, which is I think his usage was interesting because he had 9 targets and no one else was even close to that. So I don't know if that was game script or what, but it's usually not this far separated between the two of them. So Ayuk saved his daily touchdown you're talking about, but yeah, like they didn't really have to do much for San Francisco. They basically just chilled the second half of the game and just so it could have been a lot better game for San Francisco, but they really just took their foot off the pedal and just kind of just took it easy and didn't have to do much, and that kind of sucks. But that's how this game went down.
Yeah, I think for me with Geno, I am worried about the schedule and also his health. Like the announcers were saying, like his tricep was black for a better portion of the week, right? Just from I guess it's deep bruise or pull. I don't know what it is, but I imagine that factored in some. But if you can afford to in a super flex, and I have this luxury in a couple spots because I have Josh Dobbs. And if you can sit him after 13, 14, 15, he's got Philly and Tennessee in the beginning stages of playoffs, and he should be able to pass the ball on those terrible passing defenses. But right now it's not looking good for him.
Yeah, it's rough. And like Charbonnet's usage we'll hit on that for a second. It was incredible. Like nobody gets that level of usage. It was like 87% snaps, 85% of opportunities, and 72% of the routes he ran one. It's like that's RB1 type usage. Just it's terrible offense right now. So it diminishes him, but he's a playable RB2 at the minimum.
Excuse me while I look up Kenny McIntosh's usage from yesterday. That Pete Carroll's RB1 in the offense. Oh wait, didn't record a snap. Thank you, Pete Carroll, for being Pete Carroll.
You love it. This is the world we live in, folks.
Yep.
Someone's a little salty, hey?
Well, no, I don't care. I just, I just wish they would tell us what the hell's actually happening. But there's the gamesmanship aspect of coaching. I guess.
Even if Pete Carroll told you, would you believe him?
Well, absolutely not. But this is the discussion. It's like you see this posted around, right? This is news, and I just hope that nobody is thinking that this is actually going to happen. Just know who to believe and who not to believe in the NFL.
That coaching index on Twitter is like a fantastic place to follow because they look at the history of what they said. And Pete Carroll's just optimistic about everybody. So it's degrees of optimism with him. But yeah, you just have to take it with a grain of salt. It's absurd.
I've resorted to advertising mid-show. That's my latest article. Go check it out on Player Profiler. Published this morning. Buy or sell.
Buy.
We're buying.
Spoiler alert. Sam Howell's the buy. If you've ever watched this show before, you knew Sam Howell was my buy. I don't think...
It was me to be Josh Dobbs in the background.
I've been saying this since week 2 when everyone was killing me for it. So I think you already knew he was my buy. But all right, let's get into this here. These are the Sunday games and the Monday nighter at some point. NFC home games. We've got, excuse me, sorry. We've got Rams. We've got Cardinals. Stafford and Murray. What are we thinking here? I've got Murray, I think, as my QB 9, and I've got Stafford way down at 19. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, interestingly enough, Stafford just has not been good for fantasy. As good as he played out earlier in the year, he's playing worse. And Kyler is he's a fantasy, just a savant. Like he just gives you points all the time. So I have Kyler well above him. Like there's a tier gap. I'm actually have Kyler above Herbert, so he's QB 8. I just trust Kyler too much. Like he's fantastic for fantasy. Stafford is well below. I'm trying to find him on the list. He's 26 for me. So yeah, I really don't want Stafford, to tell the truth.
Yeah, it's sad. This is a smash matchup for him too, and we don't
is.
know. Do we know what's going on with Cup at the moment?
He limited practice yesterday, so he might play. But
Yeah,
we don't
let's
know.
assume he suits up and he's not 100%,
No, see,
right?
I have him in quite a few rosters, and I've been preparing for the assumption he's not playing. But
yeah,
both Cup and Puka both practice Thursday in limited capacity. That's not great.
No.
Puka was upgraded to a full participant, but Cup is still limited.
Yeah.
Nakua is far more likely to play at this point, and the Rams are being careful with Cup. That sounds to me like Cup's not going to play.
I mean, but for the sake of argument, if we assume he's playing, it's still a concern for Stafford. We know that if he does play, he's not 100%, and it's just a problem for this offense. Kyron's coming back. Maybe that injects something into the offense, but with Higbee and Atwell kind of disappearing a lot of times, you're hyper targeting Nakua. It's pretty easy for defensive minds to figure out, even the defensive minds of the Arizona Cardinals. So,
yeah, I don't think Stafford's hit 20 points per game, in one game this season yet. I was just looking at stats and I was like,
20.88 in 6 point.
Okay,
once.
Yeah, one time. It's been rough, man. He's been good. And then he's regressed this later in the second half of the year. He's not playing at the same level. So
yeah,
I have his season high at 23.6 in week 5.
Yeah,
this league has points per first down, though.
Yeah. Against Philly, of course.
It was, yes. Running backs, third best matchup for what I'm assuming is Kyren Williams at this point. If it is Kyren Williams, he's an absolute smash. On the other hand, it's 23rd best matchup. Not good for James Conner. Still got to play him as an RB2. I'm interested here to see what the role of Michael Carter is. I want to bring up my rankings because I feel like I have Kyren at 15, but I haven't moved him up until I'm 100% sure he's playing. Having said that, I think I'm going to move him up now into my top 10. I know I always love to
good with it.
Give them. Yeah, I know. I don't know how good I am with it because I always hate smashing them in their first week back, especially after a lengthy IR stint.
Mm-hmm.
So it scares me, but I think he's probably an RB1 and Connor's an RB2. I have Connor at 21. What do you guys got?
Yeah, I'm starting Connor over Kyren this week. Just I don't know how it's gonna work out with Kyren, but if he gets the workload he had before, I would put him in top 10, like you're talking about. It's with Charbonnet, same thing. It's just going up against a much worse defense in Arizona. This is the type of running back you want to fire up. So yeah, I'm firing up as Kyren as an RB2 with legit high end RB1 upside with his usage. And Connor's just solid. He's dependable. He's gonna get work. You can count on Connor in this game too. They're both mid-level RB2s, but I think Kyren has a much higher upside in this game.
Yeah, I expect Kyren to not to get the workload that he got in the past, but certainly to be the guy in the passing game. The question is whether or not the Rams will need to utilize it that much. But if Kupp is out, I think Kyren's an absolute smash. He's just going to be the beneficiary of some of those checkdowns when Nakua is doubled and no one else is open. So give me Kyren.
12th best matchup for the Rams, so I'm starting both Puka and Kupp if he plays. Puka's a lot higher in my rankings if Kupp doesn't play, though. That's for sure. He's probably top 8. 18th best matchup for the Cardinals. Hollywood, for me, I think is an RB, a wide receiver 3 at this point. Where do you guys have these two? What do you think of them? Or 3, I guess.
I have
that 7.
I have him insanely high because without Kupp, he's going to see a 40% target share in this game. It's going to be absurd. Probably 15 target range. He's going to get the volume. So if he hits, he could be a high end wide receiver.
Yeah. I have Kupp at 41 under the assumption he's either out or limited. So that's why I have Puka at 7.
Where'd you have Hollywood?
I haven't found him yet.
27.
27.
Okay.
Yeah. I have 20. It's just. It's really hard to fade him at a certain point, but his usage is strange the last couple of weeks with Kyler back. So that's the kind of what worries me a little bit. So I might drop him a few spots in the rankings. It's Trey McBride's offense. I've been saying it. He's the focal point of that offense. And his usage is ridiculous. So it unfortunately brings around the rest of the guys. But yeah, Kyler still supports him. So I'm all aboard the Hollywood train at mid-range wide receiver 2.
Yeah, I think Hollywood can bounce back. The question is, when will he bounce back? He's only had 4 and 5 targets the last few weeks, like you mentioned, but only connecting on 25% of those. So, that'll come back around at some point. They'll get it together. It should be this week against the Rams, but it might take up until the bye in week 14 for them to really get it together, which doesn't help you if you're already out of it.
Tight ends, 8th worst matchup for Higbee. You're not playing him anyways.
Nope.
8th best matchup for McBride, and you're starting him as probably a top 6 because, as I heard someone say, it's McBride's team. 2nd best matchup for Prater, who's been not great, but decent or good matchup. So if you need to, he can be streamed. He wouldn't be my choice of targets, though. Havre sick on the Rams, bad kicker, bad matchup. Well, bad performance anyways. Sit him. I would prefer to avoid both kickers. DST, top 12 matchup for the Rams. It's 10th, actually. I don't want to trust that because this ranking was before Kyler came back. That's going to improve, with more games for Kyler. Middle of the pack for the Cardinals, so I'd like to avoid both DSTs here. If I had to play one, I'm probably playing the Rams, but I don't want anything to do with either of them. What do you guys think?
Yeah. It's just a better defense. We've seen Arizona, like, they're all over the place defensively. But I'll just take, and since Ertz has gone down, McBride is almost a 30% target share. So FYI, it's McBride's offense.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, don't even think twice. Just put him in, lock him in. He's there for the rest of the season. Although a weird week 14 bye for them.
Yeah. That sounds...
Next, we have Patriots versus Giants. Quarterback, the battle for the ages. 5th worst matchup for Tommy DeVito. You are not playing him.
No.
14th best matchup for Mac Jones. You're also not playing him.
No.
Moving on. Running
Yeah.
backs. I don't think anybody needs to say anything else. Okay, running backs. So 17th best matchup for Barkley. He's probably at this point a borderline RB1, but I think you could still get him into the RB1 rankings. Ramondre, who I can't seem to find right now. Ramondre, 6th best matchup. I'm playing him as probably an RB2. I'm going to check my rankings quickly. I have neither. Oh, Ramondre at 22. I can't find Saquon. Oh, whoa! I got Saquon at 9.
Yeah, he's
yeah.
So 9 and 22. What do you guys think?
Yeah, Saquon's a stud. He's RB7, and like this is what we talk about, just following usage of elite players. Like the way they used him last week, where he freaking caught that touchdown like one-handed in the end zone, I was like, whoa, that's vintage Saquon. So yeah, I'm rolling with Saquon everywhere. He's literally could be the RB1 this week. It would not shock me at all. It's just you just need DeVito to not be the worst quarterback in the league. So who knows how that goes against the Patriots defense. But yeah, I'm firing him up for sure. And Stevenson's been back kind of what we've seen early, like what we hope to see. So Stevenson's good. He's RB, what is it, 15? Yeah, it's like 15 for me. So like I like both these guys a lot in these matchups. Like we're riding with them.
Yeah, and Ramondre finally over the last month is seeing the targets again, which kind of disappeared a little bit. So they're there, they're consistent. And he had 20 carries before the bye last week. So against Indy, the Giants are not formidable. And if the Patriots are smart, which I think they're smart enough, they're just going to continue to pound the ball with Stevenson, Elliott, and Trent Brown is back, which always helps.
Wide receivers. 5th best matchup for the Patriots, 17th best matchup for the Giants. Spoiler alert, I don't want to play any of them. Pop Douglas is my highest ranked. He is wide receiver 38. They are all desperation flexes for me. I would, like I said, Demario Douglas is my favorite out of all of them. If I had to pick a Giant, I'm torn between Slayton for safety and Wandell for upside, unless you want to go really roll the dice and pray Hyatt breaks a long one. But I don't want any of these guys. How about you?
Yeah, Douglas is the only guy you can consistently count on to like put in your lineups just because he's seen the targets and the volume, and he's been good. He's like by far the best wide receiver. So yeah, he's a flex play wide receiver, and I'm fine firing him up. The rest of the guys, I'm just not even touching.
Yeah, I agree with Slayton as well, but he's having some sort of injury. He's upgraded to questionable now, but yeah, he still may not play. You don't want to start him, but if you have to, and he's playing. Yeah, he's better than any other choice other than Douglas. Douglas, I think, is a flex. The Giants aren't great. The Pats don't have anybody else. You can flex them.
Tight ends. We have the 3rd worst matchup and the 9th worst matchup. You're not playing any of them anyways. Sit Bellinger, Sit Henry. At kicker, we have the 9th worst matchup for Chad Ryland, and we have the 15th best matchup for Randy Bullock. You're not playing either of them. And on DST, best matchup for the Patriots. I like them as a streamer. I've added them in a bunch of leagues. And you have the 6th best matchup for the Giants, who I also like as a streamer here. probably both as low-end DST1s. So you're benching both tight end. Bench the quarterbacks, play the running backs, bench most receivers, bench the tight ends, bench the kicker, and start the DSTs. That pretty much sums up this game. Start the DSTs. That's it. And the running backs.
Super excited for fantasy.
Yeah, it's a great game. Remember, I think one of the might be the article I'm promoting here for Player Profiler. Oh no, it's not. It was one of the games where I was previewing this game, and I said, remember the Super Bowl where it was Brady versus Eli, and it went down to a David Tyree catch, and it was exciting? This is not that.
Look at this comment. Yeah, this is an interesting decision they have to make. Because
9-2 in the playoffs. My wide receivers are Kupp, Waddle, Olave, Dell, Deontay, and JSN. Should I trade Olave for Jefferson or Dell for Jefferson?
Not Dell.
I trade Olave. But you have
to
to just with Jefferson, the risk is he just doesn't play. So
you're not getting him the next 2 weeks for sure.
Well, he's already in the playoffs, so he doesn't care. So this.
But that's what I mean. You're not getting him for 2 weeks, and I think you make it.
Yeah,
Olave though.
For the upside.
You got to keep Dell.
Because even if you trade Olave for Jefferson and you airball this and Jefferson gets shut down, which I don't think he is, you still have Kupp, Waddle, Dell, Deontay, J. So you're not dead. It's not as pretty as it would have been, especially if Kupp is injured. And
that's
Waddle's
the thing with Kupp.
Yeah,
that's the whole risk, and then you're really cutting it down another level. So there's a
you're
lot of risk at this level. Yeah,
you're 9-2. Don't play for second place.
Yeah,
shoot it all.
I would trade Olave. It's just especially because Carr's back. So that means it's worse for Olave again. So yeah, I
roll the dice. You don't always get a chance to win it. Go for it. An exciting one. Another one. These games suck.
They do.
Possibly blow.
Next up, Bucks versus Colts. Third best matchup for Gardner Minshew. I can't find the other one. Where the hell is Baker Mayfield, 25th best matchup. Baker has actually been half decent this year, and I believe I have him ranked at QB 16. Minshew is QB 18, so I think they're both playable in flex or super flex. I don't think you're playing either in single unless you've come into some unfortunate circumstance. What do you guys think?
Yeah, Baker's fine. I much prefer Baker. He's just been a better quarterback. Minshew, it's both these guys are like a roller coaster. Minshew's just a more extreme version because he has highs and he has massive lows. So yeah, I have Baker a couple spots ahead, but the confidence level between those spots rankings is massive. I'm rolling with Baker over Minshew for sure.
Yeah. Baker's low budget Sam Howell in that he's voluming his way. He's just not throwing a ton of touchdowns. That's really what's keeping him depressed. But against the Colts, you can throw touchdowns. So I don't see a problem firing him up, and I'd much prefer him over Minshew for sure.
Playing Baker Mayfield makes me depressed.
I agree.
Running backs, fourth worst matchup for Jonathan Taylor. I am playing him anyways. 10th best for Rachaad White, who once again will volume his way into probably RB1 conversation.
RB1.
Gonna bring up my rankings here. I have Taylor at 3, and I have Rachaad White will be moved up. I have White at 15 right now, but he's going to get moved up once I
15?
run through these again on the weekend. What's that?
Yeah, that was that's super low from I was looking at my rankings so I have White.
I don't like White at all. I think I hate these guys who just volume their way because they get replaced out of nowhere, much like Najee. I get it. I get the volume. You got to follow the volume, but following the volume on garbage offenses, I don't like it. But
yeah, it's White's just been so we saw it yesterday with Charbonnet. It's the floor performance is that when they hit and they hit big, it's a monster performance. And White's been up and down, but realistically, it's a good matchup for him. So White's a top 4 running back this week for me, and that's fucking terrifying to say, but that just is what it is. I'm playing him over Taylor. So yeah, we're doing that. We're doing that.
He's the RB8 on the season, right? I get we don't like him. I get he's kind of average in terms of ability, but this was the David Montgomery argument when he was in Chicago, right? Everybody hated him, but it doesn't matter. They fed him. Rachaad White only had 9 carries last week. He still ended up as the RB14 because he caught 6 of 7 balls for 28 yards. He's just getting fed consistently week after week in the check down game. And Baker is not more than a multi-read quarterback. He's just looking for White whenever he can. So yeah, you fire him up. He's an RB1. I paid a first for Rachaad White last week in a dynasty league. I hated it, but it's going to be fine, right? If it wins me the championship, fuck it.
YOLO, baby.
Yeah,
Wide receivers. Fourth best matchup for Pittman, who I have as wide receiver 13 this week. 10th worst matchup for the Bucs. I have Mike Evans as my wide receiver 10. I have Chris Godwin as wide receiver 23. So I think I've got 2 wide receiver 1s in this game and a low end 2. What do you guys have?
Yeah, it's really hard to fade Evans, even a bad matchup. Like he's we talked about Baker Mayfield. He loves Mike Evans. He's like first read, it's all Mike Evans all day. So yeah, like he's top 20 option, and I'm gonna move him up a little bit higher because it just seems too low. But yeah, I have Pittman over Evans. It's just a better matchup. And Pittman's on the other end, same thing. It's just he's getting a ton of volume. He's seeing the looks, like this is what you want to see. So yeah, I like both these guys in this matchup. And then you could, I don't know, like Downs has been good. It's just injuries and stuff like that. I think I have Downs over Godwin. I need to double check my rankings, but let me see what those are at.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I do. So I have Downs a few spots above Chris Godwin this week.
Baker Mayfield is many things, but he's not stupid. He's feeding Mike Evans at the expense of Chris Godwin. But, so what? Mike Evans is clearly the better receiver. I would go Evans, Pittman here, although it's very close. And then, Downs and Godwin flex if you have to.
I think that's the most controversial thing I've ever heard you say.
Evans over Pittman?
No, that Baker's not stupid.
I know. I wouldn't have said that at the beginning of the season, that's for sure.
Not sure I want to be quote tweeted on that one. All right, tight ends. 7th best matchup for Granson or whoever the hell it is, Jelani Woods nowadays. 10th best matchup for Otten. I don't mind streaming Otten based on the volume, but I don't really want to start either here. The kickers, 5th best matchup for McLaughlin. Want nothing to do with that. 20th best matchup for Matt Gay. He is streamable if you are in a pinch. DSTs, it is the 12th worst matchup for the Bucs and the 14th worst matchup for the Colts. I don't really want to start either. I guess they are both probably, if I look, I bet you they're both around 12 to 15 for me if you have to. Actually, they're lower. The Bucs are 17. Actually, the Colts are 10, so 10 and 17. So if you have to, you can play the Colts. I don't really want to start either. It's not a great week for DSTs, let me say. What do you guys got?
Yeah, I mean, you can fire them up, but like, I really don't have much confidence either one of these defenses, to tell you the truth. So, yeah, it's a little bit risky, but yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, it's just, you just ride with it and go with it.
Baker Mayfield is many things, but he's not turning the ball over that much. So something to consider. Indy, Shaq Leonard released for some probably a cap saving or whatever.
Injuries.
He's cooked, man. Like, he can't play defense anymore. Yeah, it sucks.
Juju Brents is probably not playing again. Just, you don't want anything to do with the Indy D for sure.
I tell you, you want to stream a DST, you've got about 2 hours and 15 minutes to get two of my 4 in my column today, because I have both the Jets and Dolphins as 2 of my 4 DST streamers. So
fair.
If you need one, go get him. Dobbs or Lawrence? Dobbs.
Dobbs playing Chicago. Ride with Dobbs.
Who's Jacksonville playing?
The Houston. Their defense is much better than Chicago's defense.
You're right. I'll go Dobbs.
And need to sit one. Warren, Ford, Mostert, Hall. You're not
sitting Ford.
I'm sitting Ford.
Yeah. Let me just double check.
Who's Cleveland?
But that's good for options.
Denver. Denver. It's Denver, man.
So that's
I don't know.
Funnel.
Their defense has been better though.
They're a pass funnel though, not a run funnel.
Yeah, not against the run.
Pittsburgh has who?
I'm not benching Warren. He's too good, man. Like I'm just
Pittsburgh has Warren. And Mostert is a must start at this point.
You got to start Mostert.
It's between Hall and Ford. Yeah, I'm sitting Ford regardless. Even with the good matchup.
I'm sitting Breece Hall.
Oof.
I get it.
Yeah. They're back to back. They're 22-23. You can see either one of them.
Yeah.
Like it's I'm with you.
Yeah, but Warren and Mostert, you're starting for sure.
Yeah. And then
take your pick.
It's just whoever you think is the better player, like just play that guy.
Well, I think that one's pretty obvious, isn't it?
That was my subtle shot at getting Breece.
Yeah, exactly.
Next up, Bears, Vikings. This slate of games, it's something else. Let me tell you.
QB1 Josh Dobbs, baby.
Let's go.
Josh Dobbs, 10th best matchup. You're
QB1 Justin Fields.
Justin Fields, 16th best matchup. You're probably starting him. My rankings, this is going to be scary, I think, if I look. Fields I have at 8. Dobbs I have at 10.
Move them both up. Just
I got
move
Fields
them
at
both
5.
out.
Well, I feel like
Yeah.
I
Dobbs at
flip
10.
flop them is
Yeah.
what I want to do, not move them
Yeah.
both out.
So
Yeah.
interesting enough, like this is the same situation. Both these quarterbacks can scramble, can make things happen, but they're not really good passing quarterbacks. And FYI, we just know Justin Fields in this point in his career. He's not a good passer. Like I hate to break it to people, it is what it is. But yeah, like they're fantasy gurus for points. Like they find ways. The way their game's set up, it's perfect for fantasy. So yeah, you fire both these guys up this week. I would hate to have to bench either one because like these defenses are not good. So yeah, these are the games we want to play these guys.
I'm starting Dobbs over Fields.
Woo, spicy. I like it though. I ride with Dobbs. I got Fields above him. Like he freaking had 18 rush attempts last week. That's just absurd for a quarterback. Like I have a hard time benching him at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's
It's like
bad?
Vikings
Let me
defense,
check
right?
the official ranking. As bad as they've been for as a matchup, the Vikings are a top 10 DST for fantasy. They're 9th.
It's so weird how that
That's
works out.
terrifying.
Yeah, it's like not a good defense at all, but they find ways to get fantasy points.
Running
Similar to
backs.
Rashad White.
8th best matchup for Alexander Madison. 7th worst matchup for whoever the Bears call their starter. I guess it's Khalil Herbert. I want Madison, I suspect, as an RB2. Khalil Herbert, I think I have more like an RB3. Let's see. Where do you guys?
I just want to clip that piece where you said I want Madison. Like let's get that clipped.
Baby.
Alexander Madison.
I have Madison at 25.
Oh, move him up. He's
and
gonna
that's
roll.
still my
RB2.
highest.
Get him in the RB2.
I have
Come on,
Khalil
one
Herbert as
spot.
37. So
Yeah,
even when I want Madison, I don't really want Madison. It's relative to the other shit piles on the heap.
So these guys are all these 4 running backs in this game are 8 spots apart. That shows you where my rankings are at with these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like realistically though, it's Herbert and Madison. Those 2 guys I want. We saw Herbert come on. He's healthy. Foreman got injured last week, so I don't know how his situation is this week playing.
Yeah.
So if he's out, it's just Khalil Herbert's gonna get the work. And as fun as Roshan is, and I like him, I gotta admit defeat with Roshan at this point. It's not happening this year for him. Herbert's a good rusher, and he's been a good rusher his entire career. So yeah, like I'm playing those 2 guys in this matchup. Like I expect one of them to find the end zone.
Yeah, but you should play Madison over all of them. He's going to volume his way. He just proved again that the coaching staff is just going to give him most of the work when he came in last week on, off of an injury-riddled week of practice and just got the bulk of the work. Ty Chandler is not worth the flex, in my opinion.
Receivers, we have the 16th best matchup for the Vikings, 9th best matchup for the Bears. I have DJ Moore at 13. I have Jordan Addison at 26, but I have not accounted yet for Justin Jefferson officially being out. He will move up, I think, into the mid-range wide receiver 2. I think he's a great target to sell high on very, very soon. What do you guys think here of Addison and DJ Moore?
You're saying Justin Jefferson is a target to sell high, or Addison?
Yeah, Addison.
Yeah.
I'm
Addison's
assuming
my dynasty
Jefferson will
sell.
be back after the bye.
He's wide receiver 10 in Dynasty. I don't know what the hell we're doing with Addison. His metrics don't point to him being ever like a truly elite wide receiver. You take away Kirk Cousins, and we've kind of seen the situation for Addison play out. He's fine. He's good. But realistically, I'm going to move on from him. But I don't know what's going on. I'm going to go check on my daughter. So I'll be back.
Yeah, it's fine. But that's the real concern, right? With Addison is that Kirk Cousins could support multiple options, right? Right now with Josh Dobbs and Jefferson coming back, that's going to eat into everybody else's share because he's not going to be the guy who supports multiple options. We saw it in Arizona. We're seeing it again here where, he's running the ball so frequently and putting in touchdowns himself, doing it on his own, that he's just not going to support it. When Jefferson gets on the field, it's going to be Justin Jefferson all day, even if he's a bit capped. So, yeah, I agree. Addison is a big sell. On the other side of the ball, too, DJ Moore makes sense. He's got a nice little matchup, and Fields can find the insanely wide open wide receiver here. It's why Darnell Mooney isn't getting as much work because he's only moderately wide open. But you can at least trust Fields to get the ball to DJ Moore. I wish he would get the ball more to Cole Kmet, but that's another discussion.
Tight end, 6th best matchup for TJ Hawkinson, who I have at 2. 17th best matchup for Kmet, who I have at 11. Play them both. DST's 8th best matchup for Joseph, 6th best matchup for Santos. I have them both as 2 of my 4 streamers this week. Play them both. I don't know if they necessarily go off and finish as top 3, but they will both break the 8-point plateau and be usable. Alan Lazard is inactive.
Does it matter?
No, it doesn't. DST's
maybe for Garrett Wilson.
Fifth best
more
matchup
targets.
for the Vikings. 13th best matchup for the Bears. The Vikings, I believe, are also one of my other DST streamers. Stream them if you have to. Avoid the Bears. What do you guys think about any of that?
Yeah, I think the Vikings just a better defense. But yeah, I really don't want to stream it on the defense. Like these rushing quarterbacks can freaking kill you. That terrifies me. So yeah, I really don't want to play their defense.
We've got to hustle because we have about 10 minutes to do 2 games here.
Let's do it. Oh, good. We can forget about this.
God, Derek Carr, Mr. Ritter. Why?
Yeah.
Start Taysom Hill. Sit everyone else.
For real.
Maybe Kamara. Start Kamara as well.
13th best matchup for Carr. I don't even know if he's playing or if he's any good. If he does play, avoid him.
He's in.
Heineke, Ritter, whoever the hell it is, back. So sit both quarterbacks. Let's just agree with that. Sit both quarterbacks unless you're desperate. Yes.
Yeah. Super flex only. Yeah. We're not.
Running backs. I am at the point where I'm praying I have Brian Robinson over Bijan. It's the third worst matchup for Bijan. He's not getting the volume. Alvin Kamara. It's the second worst matchup. I don't care. I still probably have Alvin Kamara in my top 6. So I have Kamara at 5. How about you?
Derek Carr's check down Jesus. So this bumps Kamara up to the moon. So Kamara's like top 2 option.
Jesus.
So that's what it is. Like this is a beautiful usage for Kamara. So Kamara gets to shoot back up again with Derek Carr as quarterback.
And with Bijan Robinson, he got 24 touches, 23 touches last week, 22 on the ground, 95-1. Sorry, that was before the bye. You hope that Arthur Smith had some sort of revelation during the bye. We all know that that's ridiculous to think about, but at least you can pray to the fantasy gods that maybe that usage from week 10 continues. But yeah, you fire Bijan up here, even in a terrible matchup.
Maybe he had a come to check down Jesus moment.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Wide receivers, we have the 5th and 6th worst matchup for the Falcons and Saints. 6th worst. I think I'm still playing Olave as a 2. 5th worst for London. I think he's flexible at best. Then I'd probably be willing to also flex Shaheed here. Desperation dart throw if you really want A.T. Perry. I have Olave at 15. Drake London down at somewhere buried 34, and I have nobody else in the top. Oh, I have Shaheed at 40. So I have.
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead.
Oh no, sorry to make that you off.
No, go. Oh, T. Higgins is officially out Sunday.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
that helps.
Then we don't have to play him, so that actually saves us the problem, right?
It helps because maybe Jamar Chase can be borderline wide receiver 1 just with the extra.
Oh, good, says the guy who obviously owns no shares of T. Higgins.
I owns a crap ton of T. Higgins. I was T. Higgins over Devontae Smith. That was a mistake.
I don't think I have T in my rankings. I must already have assumed he was. Oh no, I do. I have that.
He's living that Garrett Wilson and Jamar Chase and all those guys with that bad quarterback play. Like we're gonna see it tonight. They're living that just volume. That's the only way they get there. But yeah, Olave, he knocks down the rankings with Derek Carr because Jameis Winston, and we saw how it worked. It was better. But yeah, I like throwing a dart on Sheed and keeping an eye on how they use these quarterbacks with him and Perry. Keep an eye on them and how this usage shakes out because no Thomas, it opens up the window for one of them to be the wide receiver 2. I think it's going to be Sheed, but we don't know. And then on the flip side, London, you're just Desmond Ridder experience again. He's a low-end wide receiver 2, high-end wide receiver 3. He'll get volume. It just sucks. It's another great wide receiver in a terrible situation.
That's what it is. It's the volume for London. Yeah, he's flex-worthy, but you're not happy about it.
Tight ends, 11th best matchup for the Saints, 14th best for the Falcons. This matchup features a top 6 tight end. His name is Taysom Hill. All righty. Moving on to the kickers. I just slide that in and move along like I didn't say it. 16th best matchup for Groupie, who I have as one of my streamers. He's a low-end kicker 1, if that's a real thing. Koo has a bad matchup, but you kind of have to play him if you drafted him. Just lower expectations. 14th best matchup for the Saints DST, 25th for the Falcons. I will play the Saints probably as a top 12 defense. Probably is more like a 7th. Where are they for me? These Saints are...
Yeah, they'll climb the ranks for sure.
I can't even find them. Where the hell are they? Did I lose them?
They might be higher up than you think.
No, they're not. They're lower up than I think. Lower down than I think. Way down.
Interesting. I mean, the Falcons offense really doesn't turn it over a lot, so I get it from that perspective.
When the Saints defense has been terrible lately.
But yeah, there's also that too. It's just, I'm gonna pull this up real quick.
Maybe they can sustain drives now with Derek Carr back, but that's not exactly.
What the hell did you just say?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, like Carr's really good for Taysom, so like you can fire up Taysom as a tight end. Like
You still drunk from Thanksgiving dinner?
Oh,
Is that what's going on here?
Obviously.
Yeah, okay. 12-team PPR just traded Mixon for Waddle. Burrow injury worries me, and I already have ETN,
Yeah.
Kamara, Kyron,
You're good.
W for me.
I think so. If you needed the receiver, I think Mixon
absolutely.
was far safer than Waddle, but if you needed a receiver, I don't hate it.
Yeah,
You've
I
got
mean, but
plenty
I'd play these three running backs over Mixon anyway. So like, it's fine. It's just
especially if
I like
Kyron
that for
comes
me.
back to the workload he had, it's a win.
Absolutely, yeah.
Few minutes here. Let's cap this one off with I sandbagged us and saved the only good game on the week for last.
You got some talent.
Let's go.
Bills, we've got Eagles. 8th best matchup for Josh Allen. You are starting him. 8th worst matchup for Jalen Hurts. You are starting him. They are my 1 for Hurts, 4 for Allen. Ooh, I am really glad I have Dak locked in as my 2 already. That might come out. That might work out well for me.
I would flip them. I would start Allen over Hurts if you have that luxury. Philly's D is just terrible. So for me, we know Hurts is going to get it in the ground. He's going to be just fine. But Josh Allen has QB1 upside every week, and this week more than any other week. He's gonna dominate through the air.
They are my 3 and 4. I moved it down. I put Hurts at 3, Allen at 4.
I Dak at 1 this week. Oh,
I have Dak at 4. I moved Lamar to I can't move 2 because it's locked in. So
spoiler alert: put Dak at 1 next week as well.
Yeah, you fire up these quarterbacks. It's just they're high-end quarterback ones every week, no matter the matchup. So I think Hurts can get some more rushing against this Buffalo defense that has struggled against the run. So I think there's like a little more upside for Hurts in this one too.
Running backs, middle of the pack matchup for Swift, who I have at 7. Worst possible matchup for James Cook, who I have all the way down at 27 because I hate the matchup. Wow. What do you guys think here? I think I'm going to move Cook up a little, but it's an ugly matchup.
You have Swift really high. I have him at 17. The weird thing with Swift is like he just doesn't get as much volume and work as we want to see. It's kind of Hurts caps him. He's efficient. He's a good running back.
His offensive line is that good.
I know. It's really nice for him, but I can't talk, so just skip it.
Yeah, but
anyways, so.
Look, Buffalo's defense continues to struggle for sure. Cook, I get he's depressed this week, but he's going to make it up in the passing game. Josh Allen, 4 touchdowns this week, minimum through the air. So you can fire up all your Bills.
Wide receivers, we have second best matchup for Diggs, who I suspect is my 1 or 2. Bad matchup for A.J. Brown. I suspect he's probably my 3 or my 4 upon further investigation. They are Diggs at 2, A.J. Brown at 4.
Where do you have Smith? Because I'm super high.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have 3 top 6 wide receivers in this game, like in my rankings. Like
I have Devonta Smith. No, I have him at 13. Devonta Smith, 13.
Yeah, I boosted him up without Goddard because like we've seen that trend. It's just like they funnel the crap out of targets to those 2 guys. So like it's just, and they're good wide receivers. So like I'm firing all 3 of these guys up no matter what.
I have him at 13, and I thought that was super high given how he's played this year.
Yeah, I have him at 6, and I was like, good. Or no, sorry, I have him at 7. My bad, 1 spot below Brown.
Yeah, that's a tad high.
Yeah, I think Gabe Davis is the next highest guy. He's wide receiver 40, and I'm not playing Gabe Davis. I just don't want to do it, even though he'll probably score a touchdown this game. Yeah,
you know who has the most over the last 3 weeks? Shakir actually leads the wide receiver room in Buffalo in yardage.
Yeah, we'll talk about the next guy.
Goddard is, you're right, officially still out. So that means Albert O is the tight end in Philly. Don't care. Bad matchup. You're not playing him anyways because he sucks. Middle of the pack matchup for Kincaid, who I bet is my tight end 5 or 6. 5. So you're starting him. He is 5. Kickers. Bad matchup for Bass. Bad matchup for Elliott. You're starting them both as I would assume top 8 when I investigate. Elliott is my 2. Bass is my 9. So I was close. And DSTs, I don't want anything to do with either DST. 5th and 6th worst matchup. I bet you based on how good the DSTs are, they're probably still in the top 12 or 15. Nope, I had enough common sense to move them down. The Bills are down to 18, and the Eagles are even further than that, thankfully. Oh, are they? No, the Eagles are 16 and 18, so don't start either is my end statement. Thoughts?
Interestingly enough, Dalton Kincaid's seen more yards and catches than Stephon Diggs lately. So, yeah, you're firing him up. No problem.
The one thing I want to say here is that I think it was maybe 2, maybe even 3 years ago that KC Rams game, right? That just absolutely went off the rails nuts. I don't think we've seen a game between two juggernauts yet that went absolutely crazy on the scoreboard. I really hope this is the one. Both of these teams' offenses are amazing. These defenses are suspect. I'd love to see the high-scoring game we're promised here. So.
All right. Anything else to add to that one, Jesse, or are we good?
With you. Ride, baby. Like, fire up the key players in this game. Like, it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right. Well, that concludes the last of the Week 12 games. So good luck, everyone. We will be back Sunday live at noon, right up until kickoff. So take care. Happy Thanksgiving, and good luck on Black Friday. Enjoy Jets Dolphins. Take care, everyone.
Yeah.